Welcome to episode 177 of Folks Talkin Sports. There is now a seventh member of the family who will be added to the intro. Joining us for the first time on Folks Talkin Sports, Laquita Thompson. How are you doing, ma'am?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you guys doing? And thanks for inviting me to come on. This is really cool.
Glad you could join us, and don't be scared to share your opinions at all. But real quickly, I am KG Chris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. With me is Laquita Thompson, Kenitra Williams. She is here, and Mr. A.D. Moore from the AdMax Corner. A.D., how you doing, sir?
Excellent. How are y'all? Thank you.
We're doing great. Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, no. I'm going to be a little something different. I'm going to ask the newcomer, Laquita.
Yes.
Let folks know about you, what you do, and if you remember, if you can recall, where did we first meet?
Oh yeah, I easily remember. We met at one of the Final Fours. I can't remember which one it was, but I was confused in which line to go in. I think, and you were like, "Dummy, you go this way. Put your bag in this one right over here." And then that's when we. That's. I was like, "Oh, I just told I'm a newbie. I was trying to be professional. Didn't know where I was going." So that was what, a couple years ago, 3 years
Probably,
ago,
yeah.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so ever since then, we just kind of been connected because of the U of H coverage. But I'm a national girls evaluator, a national scouting for the top 160 with John Lucas. My own Extreme Heat Sports Management, where I work with athletes in player development, consultation, player placement, also with professional, and then Extreme Heat Sports Media. So I do some sports writing and cover all women's sports, volleyball, basketball, softball, everything locally as well as internationally. So I do this all across the world, just looking at talent, scouting talent, helping talent get placed. Everything sports, I do it.
Very impressive. Kenitra, how you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. Hi, guys.
AD, any thoughts you want to say before I ask Laquita if there's a topic she wants to discuss first, and then we'll get into everything else?
No, I'm just. It's interesting how with when the Texans unveil their new home site, they mentioned that the fact that the indoor facility will accommodate 21 volleyball courts, and
Mm,
they are pushing the Texan organization. It's pushing volleyball, particularly women's volleyball now. So and the fact that professionally these young ladies like just like it is in basketball, hopefully they can stay at home and earn a decent living instead of having to go overseas and then not have to subject themselves to some of the pitfalls that they have to deal with going overseas and playing.
hmm Yeah, they have the love volleyball
Mm-hmm.
professional league here now, and I've gone to that. And actually, I really like it. It's really competitive, and those ladies, and they're bigger than what you think too. Them some big old women out there playing volleyball. But that'll be great. Yeah, I think that's great.
Laquita, let's share our thoughts. You share your thoughts on Matthew Mitchell's first year as head coach of Houston Cougars women's basketball this past season.
You know, Coach Mitchell, he did what he could do with what he had. And I think as a person, he's a great person. I think from just looking at some of the things he done, I think he's a good coach. He just had a rough roster to work with, and I think also a rough staff to kind of be his support system. So I think overall, for what he had, I think he did a pretty decent job overall. Now, I do hope in this recruiting process that they do better in that area, because when you look at the roster, it felt like I was looking at the same player across the board, like they all do the same thing, and that wasn't helping them roster wise. But overall, I give them what, a B plus. I give them a B plus
Oh,
overall.
Do you think how much responsibility does he shoulder for his staff assembly?
Very very good. 100%. I think. You know, I think, and so, and I do honestly, because when we're talking about different things, and with the network that I have a lot of people that have players and no players, or coaches, or scouts, and when they're reaching out to them and they're not responding back, I mean, that says a lot about your staff, and a lot about your program, and a lot about your focus, and it also shines a light on a lot of the issues that I think U of H women's basketball is having. So if it were me, and if I were in that situation, if I evaluated everything as a head coach, I would be like, I think I might need to go ahead and clean house and start all over again. Because a lot of those coaches, no offense to them, I mean they're good people, but I just didn't feel the connection or the work being done by them that needed to be done to push this to have a better season this season. That's just my point of view.
And this is coming from Queen Wanda Polk, who Laquita, she is a dedicated supporter of me and the Houston Round Bar Review, and watcher and viewer of AD and Kanitra and everything we do here on the YouTube channel. She agrees with you. And for Dizzy Busy, Wanda, everybody watching on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, I did not ask or invite Laquita to join the FTS family to parrot what I have said about Houston Cougars women's basketball. She just agrees. She saw it firsthand this season,
Yeah.
and she's right. And I think Coach Mitchell needs to make changes on his staff. We heard, she and I heard directly at some of the home games, the disconnect from people coaches who have players, talented players in the area, who did not hear back from the staff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's a
Well,
problem.
here's the question. Here's the question. When they brought him on, was there restrictions with him as far as what he can do with the staff? Was he given the green light to put his staff together, or was that a restriction coming in?
No, he
If
put
that's a
that together.
restriction, if that's a restriction coming in, it's kind of hard to blame him. I mean, the guy, you come into a Big 12 program. I mean, only problem is you got guys in smaller conferences that's probably gonna run circles around them right now with talent and everything else. So just the fact because I'm in a Big 12, whoop de doo, you still getting your butt kicked.
Did
No,
he
no.
retain anyone from the previous staff?
No, thank goodness.
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm just saying, if there was somebody on the previous staff who had connections with the AAU circuit, with the high school, that talent, or if you're bringing in somebody cold who really doesn't have any inroads here in the state.
Oh, no. The staff he assembled has ties to AAU, has
Mhm.
coaching experience at previous spots here in Texas. One couple of them played high school ball here in the area.
They just didn't do
No.
what was
No.
needed. Okay.
No
No.
connection whatsoever. And I even talked to one during one of the playoff games, and I was talking about your recruiting, and I was like, I hope you guys are looking for a point guard and this and that and everything. And one of the players that they're looking at, they're coming in from Westlake. She's a 6'1" center,
Mm-hmm.
but that's for high school. And I'm thinking, okay, we still recruiting the same kind of players that you already have on the roster. I was like, so I still see issues if they don't like get someone in place that can really help them better with that.
Yeah.
Could I ask a question quickly?
Sure.
Summer cricket just went back to back in the state.
Mm-hmm.
I personally, and one of those young ladies is a child of frat brother of mine who know quite well. If you've gone back to back, I'm just looking at what's in your backyard. You're
Right.
talking about certain players. You're talking about a 6'1" center. Hello. I mean, didn't they stop using those for girls basketball, 15, 20 years ago? I mean, these females have gotten much taller, much more developed. A 6'1" center, really? That's a point guard now, really, in women's basketball.
Exactly. Now I don't know how they plan to play her, but because she's a decent player, but you know, looking at her play of style, it's the same as some of the other players on the roster. And just like another player they have coming in, they all are the same. Like I don't see them picking what they need. I just see them it feels like they're just grabbing talent. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, instead of putting them in the right place of what you need for your program. That's the problem with me.
They need a point guard. They
Yep.
need shooters. They need size. They need people who can finish around the basket. All those things,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
You
And they
just
need to
got,
do a better job of outreach with the coaches in the area.
yeah.
So it's and I asked Coach Mitchell, how did he answer it? I asked him how he thought he did his first year. His answer was kind of chalk and blah, areas he wanted to improve on, and I was just like, yeah, that's already what I wanted to hear.
Right.
But I have heard that he probably is going to make changes to his staff. Let me get this, acknowledge this person right here. Adam, thank you very much for becoming a member, and hope you be sure you watch the video I posted regarding the Houston Cougars men's team and the transfer portal, and leave your comments because it will open your eyes about what I was told and how I disagreed with all three of those players you're looking at, supposedly. But anyway, the women's team has a lot of holes to fill. Laquita, and we're going to talk Texans in a second. But Laquita, do you think, is there anybody on the current roster they should bring back?
There's probably there's gonna be some people might be upset with me if they see this, but honestly, you know what? I might even just clean house on that roster as well and just start anew. Now I like Merchant, but it's kind of like it's not really consistent. But if it be one, I would keep Merchant. Um, Oof. The rest of that, I think I might would just probably clean house and just hit that portal hard as I can and get some experienced players.
All
Get
right, let
some
me
experience.
do a change here on the fly. I might lose somebody, but I'll bring him back in a second. Kim is joining us, so give me 1 second here. Oh, well, there we go. I made the right substitution. Kim, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm
Kim, do
trying
you know Laquita Thompson?
Yeah.
Yes, good to see you.
Hey, Kim.
Hey there. I was trying to add my platform. That's what took me so long to come in. I guess it won't let me do it.
Well, you
Okay.
might have to ask AD about adding the guest destination because I'm not sure you can do it
Hit-
beforehand. I don't know. We'll figure it out for the future.
Okay, yeah.
But we're talking Houston Cougars women's basketball before we talk Texans and what they did last week. But Kiera Merchant is who Laquita is referencing. There are no current starters. No one on this team, that Houston Cougars team, women's team, is a starter for next year's team. Well, should be a starter for next year's team if they want to be better. None of them.
Mm-mm.
So they have to upgrade the talent at every position.
Yeah.
And that includes the staff, too.
Yeah. He got to clean. He got to get to work. He should be working right now to fix this for next year.
He did say that they were. I mean, he kind of said the right thing about they're going to hit the ground running now that the season's over and work to upgrade the talent and all. Okay, I want to see it. I want to see it. It
Yeah.
was, and I'll go ahead. DPQ. I'll bring this up, and then we're going to switch to Texans and the NTA and how they're trying to rely on politicians to save their sport. My goal, my expectation for Coach Mitchell his first year was to win 2 Big 12 games. That have been one more than last year's team under Coach Huey in his final year. Well, they only won. So they finished 1 in 17, whatever. Yeah, 1 in 17. Now they did win 7 games overall compared to 5 last year overall. So Coach Mitchell and his PR people kind of spun that as a positive. See, we improved. We went from 5 to 7, but it's still just 1 win in the Big 12. So, and the style of play was hard to watch because they can't shoot. No point guard, no good point guard.
No.
The person they had playing point guard this year she's not a point guard. So, all those things is just they need to look in the mirror and decide who we can bring in, who we can afford to bring in, because of NIL as well. That's an issue also. But spin it around another way, recruit the backyard and tell the players, hey, You're gonna pay a lot for us because we have spots open on our roster. You can help us turn things around here. Come join the Houston Cougars and help rebuild this program, this once program from, let's see,
Yeah.
15, 20 years ago. God, that's a long time ago. Gee whiz. Oh, whew, boy.
But I suppose it takes it's going to take him maybe 3 years
So
to possibly get it going.
Mr. Big Texaco says at least 5.
Wow.
I don't think
Yeah,
it'll take that long, though. I don't think it'll take that long.
it shouldn't, you know, but it depends on how, because you got like you have a 6'5", you have some big girls that are here that are going out, and I'm just wondering if they were even looked at, if they were even contacted. You got the girl from France that plays at Hightower. She's one of the top players in the state, 6'4", 6'5", and different things like that. So I would love, because I used to do that. I used to look at the rosters. I would really love for them to just scout the Houston area, because you got talent right here, but connect with the grassroots that's here that can help him identify who those players are and help put his roster together better.
And joining us is Willie Gibson. Brother Gibson, you made it from Cleveland. Glad you could make it.
Yes, sir.
New
Good
member
evening,
of
everyone.
the Folks Talkin Sports family is Laquita Thompson.
Good evening.
We got 3 men, 3 women.
3
Doing
on
what I
3.
can here. And we're talking Houston Cougars women's basketball, Willie, and how bad it was this season.
Okay.
And
This season? I'm sorry.
well, you know it's been bad for a long time.
I apologize.
Let's be real. No. That's factual. That's no apology needed. But this Bella Flemings is Kingston Fleming's sister. She signed with Duke. She's not leaving Duke. She not to come to this train wreck. No. Now I'll answer this, and then we'll shift to Texans talk regarding the NIL money. I've heard different things. Now, Quita, if you've heard differently or heard more, please let me know. I've heard Coach Mitchell has a budget regarding NIL that is roughly equivalent to middle of the pack for other Big 12 women's basketball teams. Other coaches tell me it's just not enough. Chris, they're not giving them enough to go get talented players. Well, they got to figure it out. If they want to win, if they want women's basketball to win, like they said during his press conference, then they need to invest more in the program. Now, if they don't, they could have just kept Coach Huey and win 1 game a year in conference play. For the next 5 years, they could have done that. So, but all right, Kim and AD. This part is for y'all, and we'll get into Kenitra. I'd love really you as well. A few moments about the NCAA and the politicians and Project Rudy and all that hooey. But the Texans, AD, you first. No. Kim, you first. The Texans trades last few days. What are your thoughts on what they did? Why did they do it? Did you like what they did?
So they started by trading Titus Howard to Cleveland, and I understand it. It was more financial, I think, than anything else. I thought he was their most versatile. Well, I think they would even admit that offensive lineman last year. It's just more change on the offensive line. So do I like it? I mean, I like Titus. Good for him. He's getting paid new contract. The Texans weren't going to pay him $21 million a year. So if it came to money and an extension, I get that part. My question is what they do, because before moving Titus, they needed to fill at least 3 spots on the line. Now they've got to fill 4. Now they did re-sign Trent Brown, the big right tackle. If he is healthy, I mean, he can move mass, and I know that they like that about him. That the key is, will he be healthy? He's been in the league 11 seasons, and he's played really most of 3. So his health will be key for them. And so they've got some holes. They need a center. They need guards. It looks like they're not going to re-sign Ed Ingram. They don't want to pay him the money from what it looks like early. They need help on the inside, and they need veterans. You can't find all that in the draft. So that's one thing. They brought in running back Dave Montgomery from Detroit. He's going to be 29 years old when the season starts. So, if a 1-2 punch, if they're able to use him the right way, he seems to fit Nick Caley's offense, I suppose. And so he and Woody Marks could be a good fit. So I kind of like it. They did release Joe Mixon this week, which was not a big surprise
Right.
that they were going to release him. So they've made moves that go, okay, they're doing something, but it's really unfinished. And until you really know what they do, I'm really curious in terms of how they complete and finish out that offensive line up front. That's really going to be key because it doesn't matter, who you get back at running back if you can't do that. So they still got to get some plays. They re-signed Dalton Schultz. So we'll see what they do. They're not done yet. They extended Daniil Hunter. He's key to what they do defensively, and I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to pay Will Anderson Jr. this year. I don't know. Have they parted ways with Gerard the last time we were on together, the quarterback coach? I'm not sure, but that's happened.
Yes,
And of
that was
course,
mutual. Right.
yeah, mutual. Yeah.
Mutual. Yeah.
And so
Yeah, whatever mutual means.
they've got a new quarterback coach. And, I still struggle with the system. I think it's very Bill O'Brien-ish. And so, which is not a compliment, to say our quarterback has these strengths, but this is the offense we want to run. And they're not the same thing. So in a nutshell, that's what they've done really so far this week. And so the jury's still out. I do not trust Nick Caserio and his group to fill that offensive line with the right people. Let me just say that.
AD, what do you say?
You're gonna trust your franchise quarterback basically to some unknowns. You got rid of your best offensive lineman, and as Kim alluded to, because he could play several positions up and down the line, and he jumped in at any given point in time. You go back and look at his statistics from from the stats. He was probably probably top 7, depending on which position they left him at any point in time. Of course, they never left him at any position at any long extended period of time. So, but the fact of the matter that you gave up your first round draft pick when they brought him when he came out of college, and now you got a 4th round draft pick for him, and now you basically going to look to see, can you find a offensive lineman or a couple of offensive linemen in this year's draft to protect your franchise quarterback. But yet you said that everybody's still looking at CJ, cross-eyed, and I'm like him, and I'm basically just going to be a little bit more blunt. I'm not sure they know what the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
Period.
They got a 5th round. They didn't get a 4. They got a 5 for Howard.
What? Okay, but still,
that's what I'm saying. It's even worse. They got a 5th round pick for him.
Yeah, I mean, this was a 1st round draft pick, and in 7 years, he's really jumped in and played every position. Only thing he didn't do was like Tommy Toya, get in the backfield and run. And he had the ability, if they really decide to do something just totally crazy and stupid, his ability, because he has been a quarterback prior, coming into high school, going into college, but they weren't going to do that. But
Willie,
I'm just perplexed.
Hold on. I want to get, what is the Browns' perspective of the trade?
Oh, they love it. The Browns they do not have an offensive line right now. The 4 starters from last year are gone, and the 5th is coming back off his 2nd major knee injury. So they are building their offensive line from scratch, and this is just step 1. And they targeted Titus Howard, and they brought him in, and they gave him a new deal. I mean, they gave him $45 million in new money. So they're looking for him to pay immediate dividends on that offensive line starting last week. Literally.
So for Kim and AD, Texas moves, were they all trash? What they brought in, what they have on the O line? Where are they going to get these? Where's the O line going to improve? Draft or free agency?
They've got to get it from free agency because you got to have veterans.
Yeah.
Can't I mean they're probably going to get one out of the draft, but you need some veteran leadership and players on the line that can step in and be effective immediately. You can't keep talking about we've got to get better on the offensive line. They said that last year when they cleaned out the house, right? They got rid of the best offensive line in Laramie Tunzel, best offensive lineman in Laramie Tunzel. And then they brought in a Cam Robinson who they traded. They brought in a Lakeland Thomas, and they brought in another guy. I can't even remember who they cut. So and Ingram, who we didn't know he would perform as well as he did. Last year was probably his best year as a pro. And Trent Brown, that's who they brought in. And Trent Brown worked out as he got healthy. He didn't play he didn't play in the Patriots game. Uh, yeah, what a nightmare. But anyway, he didn't play in that game and some other games because he had some health issues. Um, so I just don't think they know how to build a line. I don't think that is Nick Casario's strength. I don't think he has many strengths. That's definitely not one of them.
Kanitra, shifting
Well,
gears, your thoughts on the secret meeting that wasn't so secret on Tuesday involving some of the power movers and shakers in college sports regarding Smash Capital, Project Rudy, and the like. And that's before the meeting. That's not meeting on Friday with President Trump and the politicians. So, what do you think?
Hold on a second. I'll got back. Hold on.
Okay, Will, what are your thoughts? Anybody want to comment on Project Rudy and the consolidation of media rights?
Yeah, I know what you shared with me on Friday, so I haven't really been that in tune to that conversation at all.
Kim or AD?
Well,
Do you like the idea of them pooling the media rights together, all 138 Division One programs, and then
No.
going to TV media partners and saying, okay, it's kind of like the NFL does. That's the objective, anyway. That's the hope.
here's my point. I went back and Stanky, the commissioner of the SEC. Everybody's going to Washington for help, and I'm sitting there going like, okay, you mean to tell me that the NC2A, this is going to go above affordable housing, or this is going to go people that's got to have medical, Medicare and Medicaid. This is got people that's got to have a form of standard form of living and everything. All of a sudden, these folks gonna jump to the top of the heap when now gasoline within the past couple of days, at least out in my area, has
They
gone
don't
up
want
like
to talk about that.
66.
Of course not. Of course
Yeah,
not.
they may not want to talk about this, but here's my that very point. And then when I'm sitting there and you got Urban Meyer sitting up there, and we got the grift in charge that doesn't know how to have a dignified receipt of people that's been killed in military for him, and he's sitting there with a damn baseball cap on his head, and you think I'm supposed to sit there and feel comfortable about this? No. Heck no. I don't. I mean, and as far as I'm concerned, you sending the wrong signals out right now. Because really,
That's
basically,
Friday's meeting, AD.
That's
I'm talking
Friday's
about
meeting.
Tuesday's meeting. Tuesday's meeting.
well,
It's
anyway,
the ultimate
That's
plan
the
is to
thing.
stay football, though. That's the plan. Whatever,
Yeah.
supposedly.
And that's the thing about the whole thing with me with the NCAA, and they have been wanting, and I know there's two meetings, but the NC talk about accountability. They don't want. They don't want. They have been wanting the federal government to step in so that they're not held responsible or lawsuits. So I feel like they've been holding out on really trying to get a hold and get this organized because they want the federal government to do it, which there are pros and cons to everything that's on the table and everything they're talking about. There are pros and cons to it. But it's, I don't know, how would that consolidation of the media rights, how would that work really?
The devil's in the details. And first things first, the current media deals would have to end.
Right.
So those are 4 or 5 years away. And one of the things that this Smash Capital group is proposing is involving the streaming partners. So the linear networks, like, they're not going to pay more. The plan is supposedly they can guarantee doubling the current revenue. Okay, I'll believe that when I see it.
Okay.
The goal is to provide more money to all the athletic departments to help also fund the Olympic sports. So that's what both plans are proposing. Now, how are you going to go about doing it? The people in the commissioner of the Big Ten, the commissioner of the SEC are not in favor of these proposals, which could be a good indicator of that they may be good things for everybody else, but the Big Ten and the SEC, because they don't like it as it's currently being discussed. It's private capital. That's how they're saying it.
Yeah,
it's not equity.
private capital, but also, Chris, it's benefiting the big boys. And my question is, what happens to the smaller conferences, right? Who do have some TV deals now? Does that impact them? Are they totally left out? Does it mess up what they're doing? I think
yeah,
there's so
for
much
sure.
that we don't know.
Because one of the things in the memo that was distributed to the attendees of Tuesday's meeting was they wanted to optimize the football schedules.
Yeah.
So arrange more attractive non-conference matchups. Well, that means no more G5
money games.
Yeah, money games, right.
So that's going to squeeze them out. KP, what are your thoughts on Project Rudy and Smash Capital?
Yeah, it's just more of haves and have-nots. You enrich those who you enrich the one percenters, your mid majors, even your smaller teams in the Power 5, Power 4. It widens the gap.
I honestly, I don't see how whatever is done, how it can balance out. I don't see how they can do that where everybody's going to be getting this, I still see those same schools are going to be suffering at the end. I don't see that being a solution at all.
I mean, you almost need to extract football
by itself.
Yeah. You can't have it in with softball and Olympic sports and women's basketball because it's not a model that will be successful across the board.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
because again, the focus is let's make football more attractive. Let's make the matchups more attractive. You don't care about volleyball having to, fly cross country in the middle of the week across 3 time zones.
No, they don't. They don't fly. They stay. That's the attraction. They stay. I know.
But again, so we don't care about class.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Online. Online class.
Online APR, GPR, all those things. The NCAA they've lost so many lawsuits. That's why they went to Congress for help, because they refused to recognize the student assets as employees. So that is the crux of their argument. Well, you're not going to be employees, so we don't want to bargain with you collectively.
And then in Friday's meeting, not one single current student athlete was invited.
No, not one.
Not a single one.
But they were well represented. My foot.
Yeah, Nick Saban. I just talk about the hypocrisy of it. He just got mad because other people were able to pay their players, and then it made it tough for
him.
Alabama to have the monopoly on it. Like they legalized it to make it easier for everybody else, and so he was like, "I'm done."
Mm-hmm.
NIL now it's legal. That's what it is. Now it's legal. KD, what's the score of the Rockets Spurs game?
27-29, Spurs are up. A minute 26 left to go in the first quarter.
And that's on Peacock,
It's
correct?
on NBC.
NBC. Oh, NBC. There we go.
Yeah.
Brother Gibson, your thoughts on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Boston Celtics have entered the chat.
Yeah.
They have entered the chat. I know they're the number 2 seed right now, but what I saw today,
Yeah.
I mean, I had a conversation with a colleague during the game about Coach of the Year. He's like, "Oh, it has to be JB. It has to be JB Bickerstaff. What he's done in Detroit, number 1 seed, they weren't expected to do this until next year." And I'm like, okay. But what about Joe Mazzulla?
Agreed.
Yeah.
What about Joe? And not only Joe Mazzulla, I brought up Mitch Johnson in San Antonio. If JB is doing in Detroit what he's doing a year ahead of schedule, is not Mitch Johnson 2 or 3?
Ooh, I mean, they're both kind of on the same timeline. They're both sped up the process. Joe Mazzulla, I wouldn't have a problem with either one of those 3 coaches being named Coach of the Year. Joe Mazzulla, and this is supposed to be a gap year for Boston.
Exactly.
Keep that in mind. No one, hell, I'm not even sure the people inside Detroit's organization expected them to be where they are, top seed. They're not the best team in the East. I love my Pistons. Okay, they're not. I'd be stunned if they get past second round this year. They're a flawed team.
And as of right now, the second round matchup will be in Cleveland.
Well, then maybe could get past the second round because I'm not. Harden's going to harden, so maybe they could beat them.
Right.
So,
listen,
That's
but
a low
still
blow,
James
Chris.
Harden. Will he's still James Harden?
He's still James Harden.
like I told you 2 weeks ago, it's not. He's not carrying the load here.
I understand that.
Doesn't matter.
I understand that.
He wasn't
It's
carrying
not
the load
his
in
team,
Philly. Ask Doc about that.
Yeah, it's none of his team.
Yeah.
All that. He's going to harden.
Yeah.
He's
I'm not a
congested.
Harden fan at all. I'm not. So yeah.
And you know what? And that's fine. I agree. I understand, but there's other storylines here. JB coming back to Cleveland. There are people in that building that would love nothing more than to eliminate Detroit and JB Bickerstaff.
Oh, and
So,
JB would flip it around, would want to beat down for firing him, and
Yeah.
some of the Pistons players want to get back at whoever said that they're not on our level. Well,
Yeah,
there's
that
a
was
lot of
Tuesday night.
storylines.
Yeah, Tuesday night there were some things said after Tuesday's game
Yeah.
that just to let them know, like, listen, we want to stay at 4.
So and that's fine because ultimately, at some point, as good as Donovan is and as good as Jared Allen is, and Detroit would say, "Okay, James, it's the playoffs. You're gonna flame out like you always do. So go ahead and do what you do." So yeah, I'm not worried about them at all compared to everybody else. Like Boston, there's no way in the world Detroit beat Boston. No way. No, I wasn't even sure they'd beat Boston without JT. Not with JT. Nope. No, not this year. But JB has to prove his mettle in the playoffs. I'm not sure his X's and O's are legit come postseason.
I'll sit this one out.
All that is
you already know
as well.
I'll sit this one out.
But because the track record is there.
I mean, Memphis, Houston, Cleveland.
Yeah, track record is there, no question. He's got to prove it himself.
Yep.
But let's see. I think that's all. KP, did you watch? Anybody watch the Texas? Laquita, you as well. Texas South Carolina game today?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Wait, that's a silly question.
I know.
What are your thoughts?
14-0 run. I mean, that's how you open a game.
Yes, that was the start of the game.
Yeah.
Texas scored the first 14 points of the game.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be the opposite because I know UT played the late game yesterday and South Carolina played the early game. And I said, well, Texas is going to come in. They're going to be a little sluggish, not going to be hitting the shots. And the opposite occurred. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm assuming it's because South Carolina had to put so much into beating LSU that, like, mentally, they had to put a lot into that game. So, to be honest with you, I was shocked. I really was expecting South Carolina to come out with the victory and for it to be a better game, a closer game also.
Yeah, I mean, Vic Schaefer said that he intentionally didn't have his team shoot around this morning. Let them sleep in. Thought that would be more beneficial than having shoot around. Got up, got treatment, did ice baths, and he told them come out play with an edge. And you know, they opened the season beating South Carolina in Vegas in the Players era. They lost, one possession game in Carolina thanks to 22 turnovers. This time, even though the game was in South Carolina, so it was a neutral home game for the Gamecocks, but Texas only committed 9 turnovers in this one, and
Yeah.
really, and it wasn't. Dawn Staley knew Madison Booker's going to get hers. You can't let anybody else go off. But Texas had a complete effort offensively, bench points. And so you can key in on Madison Booker if you wanted to, but like Texas found other resources to help them to get this win. But Vic Schaefer, he was saying that when he got this job, his AD, Chris Del Conte, told him, prepare your program to move from the Big 12 to the SEC. So he had to recruit a different type of player, a tougher player. You go and you get a Madison Booker, from SEC country, from Mississippi. And so that's just kind of how he's crafted his team. And so, it's really worked out. I mean, you lose three starters off of a Final Four team, but then you are intentional about who you develop and then who you bring in from the portal. And it's so far it's working well. Texas now has 14 or 15 wins against ranked teams this season to lead D1.
Mm-hmm.
And they were un-Texas like. They shot well.
Shot well, I know, because that's not their thing, shooting threes like that. But they performed efficiently in this game. It was really fun to watch and really good to see like Roy Harmon come through. And I think because I remember when he made that comment about the team in his press conference about they didn't have no heart. This is the softest team he's ever had or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I wonder how that would mess with them mentally. But watching them in this tournament, like that team, like they were ready and they wanted to win. They put it all on the table, I think.
Yeah, and in his postgame huddle, he said, "This is what Texas fight looks like."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they answered the challenge that he said after that post-game press conference from a few weeks ago. But overall, today's women's title games, they weren't very competitive.
ACC game?
Louisville Duke was.
Oh yeah, the Duke game was.
That one was.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because
14
TCU and TCU
Texas
West Virginia, that was
what
terrible.
UCLA did to Iowa and what UConn did to Creighton. I mean, it's a semifinal game there, but it'd be the same thing the final tomorrow for UConn.
Yeah,
UCLA won by 51 points today
I saw that.
in a Big Ten title game against a top 10 team.
Yeah,
Beat them by 51 points.
They only beat Ohio State by 10 yesterday.
yeah.
We'll take that.
Yeah. Ohio State. Ohio State's probably better than I. We'll see who goes farther in the playoffs in the tournament. All right, that'll do it. I wanted to welcome Laquita to Folks Talkin Sports.
Thank you.
But thank you very much, and Kim and Willie and AD and Kenitra, KP. I'll ask you first. Anything changed regarding you and your social media platforms?
Nah.
No. Okay, Laquita, I'm going to put you on a solo screen, so just plug yourself, and then afterwards give me more info about, how to find you on Instagram and things like that, social media, and I'll put it up for the future shows, okay?
Oh, okay.
All right, here you
Awesome.
go. Floor is yours.
All right. Thank you guys for having me. Some of the things that I want to get out is I'm also the site director with the Houston Rockets Youth Camp, and we have an all-girls clinic coming up over spring break with Cynthia Cooper coming in, and this is one of my babies, one of my favorite things to do. So if you're listening out there, bring your girls in. It's a great opportunity to work with some of the best coaches and trainers in the city, as well as mingle and get autographs and different things from Cynthia Cooper. And then we're going to be doing some other things now, if you don't know, I'm heavily on the girls side of development and scouting. We're going to be doing some things on the middle school level for development, so that we can kind of grow up some more UT Texas players here in the city of Houston. For U of H probably is what we need to do. But yeah, so I'm excited about the Houston Rockets things we got coming up. on the girls' side. So look up the All Girls Clinic powered by Gatorade with Cynthia Cooper coming up this spring break. Um, yeah, social media is just my name, Laquita Thompson everywhere. Laquita Thompson everywhere. That's all my social medias.
Alrighty, thank you again, Chris. Thank you, family, for the opportunity. You can find me on social media, Facebook, Will Knows. It's right there on the crawl. As it says, IG and Threads, Will Knows Sports. On Twitter, Will Gibson 7, and Facebook, Will Knows.
Oh, so hey, it's Kim Davis. You can find me on um, Twitter at Kim Y Davis, on Threads and Instagram and TikTok, Kim Y Davis Media, and on YouTube at Kim Y Davis. And my show is Chalk Talk. And on Friday nights, it's H Town Sports Talk on the CW. So you can actually get that online if you're not in Houston, or you can stream it from the CW 39 Plus app anytime. And as always, thanks for having me, Chris.
Yeah, as always, folks, thank y'all, Chris, everybody, folks, thanks for everything. Yeah, you can catch at me at on the corner, Ad Max Corner, IG and Threads, and likewise named as such. Twitter, AD_Moore64. Facebook is just Adolphus Moore. As always, I'm appreciative of the opportunity. I'm just glad to just sit back sometime and just take in the knowledge. I'll leave the show a lot smarter than I came in.
And I want to thank everyone.
Wait, Kim, what's your shirt say?
Yes.
Oh, it says powered by Black women before me.
Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
On this International Women's Day. Hey.
That's right.
Which is ironic because I did not plan to have three queens on today's show and going forward on this day. It just worked out that way. So thank you
Look
to
at there.
Demetra, Laquita,
All right.
and Kim for being available for today's Folks Talking Sports episode 177. And in the future, the plan is probably I'm going to let AD drive the show by himself, with some of the panel as well. Give Will a shot also if I'm not available to do an FTS, and we're going to just spread out Folks Talking Sports and have different co-hosts going forward, and maybe Kim Laquita as well. Kim, have you joined this platform yet officially?
Yeah, no, I was going to, but StreamYard is so intuitive for me since I've been there so long, and so I just stuck with it. I stuck with StreamYard because and they've added so many things to it. So no, I have not. I actually paid for a month and thought it's the learning curve. Let me just stick with what I know.
Fair enough, Tony. Thank you very much for the comment. Thank you to everybody who watched us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch. We're going to do it. Probably won't do it next Sunday because that will be Selection Sunday. Andy and
And
I.
the Oscars.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
that's news
Don't
to me
forget
too. But might have a Selection Sunday show, but it won't be Folks Talking Sports. It might be Let's Rage Cougs. But we'll be back, hopefully, weather willing and God willing. My flight gets back early Sunday afternoon, and then in time for the Houston Cougars. They're doing a watch party at Fertitta Center.
Public?
It's not going to be private. So they're allowing fans to buy general admission ticket to attend the watch party. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, pay to come in. They selling tickets.
Got to raise money. So,
Like some money.
Yeah,
Not
they
like
broke. They broke over there. They got to do everything they can.
So you QR code, all that kind of stuff. If they would support Folks Talking Sports or the Houston Round Bar Review, maybe I promoted more. But that's for another time, another show. But anyway, everyone, thank you very much for participating in the discussion of today's edition of Folks Talking Sports. And wrapping it up. Oh, let me go ahead and do this one time. You can find Folks Talking Sports on Instagram and Threads. It's just Folks Talking Sports. But yes, and Queen Polk is correct. Many of us have been asking for a watch party for the fans, and they're finally doing it. It's a little, got to pay for it. Need money, fundraiser as well. Yeah, different levels of tickets and seats and all that kind of stuff too.
For
I'm
the
assuming
watch
they will have
party?
sections. Say that again.
Different levels of seating for the watch party?
Yeah.
Wow.
Courtside, it's like a game, really. So, buying tickets for the game. So lounge, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But we can talk about that afterwards, after it takes place. But Andy and I will be there most likely, travel permitted. But signing off, since 1994, the Houston Round Ball Review. Local name, global perspective. Y'all take care. Peace.
Peace.
And yes, it is NIL fundraiser.